Exciting news for caregivers worldwide. Canada's new caregiver pilot programs are here, offering permanent residency upon arrival. But are you prepared for the journey ahead? In this video, we will break down the eligibility criteria, requirements, and tips to increase your chances of success. Get ready to take the first step towards a brighter future in Canada. On June 3rd, 2024, Marc Miller, the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, announced the new caregiver pilot programs in Canada. The programs are intended to address the country's growing needs for qualified caregivers. The new programs will allow home care workers to receive permanent residency (PR) upon arrival in Canada. They will also be able to work for organizations that provide temporary or part-time care for people who are recovering from an illness or injury or who are semi-independent. I know many potential applicants are waiting patiently for the program to start. However, I want to prepare your mind for the significant task ahead. Now let's read the minister's statement. Canada announces new pilot programs to support caregivers, and Canadian families intends to make the caregivers program permanent. Now we jump down to the part whereby it says, through these new pilot programs, candidates interested in working in Canada's home care sector will be eligible to apply if they meet the following criteria. 1. Attain a minimum of level 4 based on the Canadian language benchmark CLB. Holds the equivalent of Canadian high school diploma. Have recent and relevant work experience. Receive an offer for a full-time home care job. These new PR on arrival pilot programs mark an important step forward in Canada's efforts to meet the evolving home care needs of its diverse population. More information will be available before the full launch of the pilots, including full eligibility criteria and details on how to apply. You can go through this at your convenience. The website that you can see this statement is over here, or you can just go to Google and then type the subject in Google. It will bring it out for you to digest. Rest assured, you are not alone in this journey. We are here to guide you every step of the way. Let's start with the Canadian language benchmarks. Have you done your IELTS examination, CELPIP or PTE? There are 3 currently authorized test providers in English. The International English Language Testing System, IELTS, the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program, CELPIP, and the Pearson English Test, PTE. This is the table to benchmark CLB for whichever test you take. Are you aware that you must evaluate your highest degree, even if it is the Senior School Certificate SSC, to a Canadian High School Diploma, which is the minimum requirement? Have you done your evaluation yet? Do you have the work experience in healthcare to prove? You better start putting those requirements together, because by the time the government would come up with the final requirements for the caregiver programs towards the end of this year 2024 or in the first quarter of 2025, already you have millions of potential health caregiver with tracks record from other countries. You're competing with those who are from Asia, you're competing with those who are from Eastern Europe, you're also competing with those who are in the United Kingdom. You just need to start putting those things together. You know, there's one saying I always tell people that, get yourself ready for an opportunity to come, because the opportunity will always come. And when it comes, the people that will grab it are those who are already waiting for it. So I advise you, go back home, do your homework, put those things together whilst you're waiting. My fellow Africans, it is not easy to find a Canadian employer who will be willing to employ you from Africa to Canada. Because come to think of it, there are people in Canada already with expertise, with experience, who are also competing or waiting for the Caregivers program to launch so that they are going to take advantage of it. And you know, for most employer would rather, you know, employ someone who is on ground already, because that will save them the cost of doing interview, doing referencing, and maybe having to find out, do background checks and all that. So it takes the grace of God, it takes favor, and it takes connection. So you need to be prayerful, and you need to position yourself. You know, who are you speaking with? And please be careful. Do not go and be talking to travel agents, you know, or those who are posting themselves as potential employer. Look, any employment that is not free, that requires you to pay, no matter how little the money is, even if it's $20, please do not patronize such. They are fakes. They are just gonna trick you to get your hard-earned money. So my advice to you is, do your groundwork, get your document ready, you know, waiting for the opportunity to come. Right. There are people who have been fortunate to be hired by employers in Canada. Don't get me wrong, but the difference is very small. It's very hard, you know. Look, I've traveled to Canada, you know, for several times. I've met with those who live in Canada and work in Canada. We've shared experience. I've spoken to them. They've told me how tough it is, you know, for a foreign employee to get a job from outside Canada. Most employers even prefer to hire people inside Canada. While we all await more information from the government before the pilot's full launch and the criteria and eligibility on how to apply, I would strongly advise you not to put your eggs in one basket. As easy as this pilot program may seem, you should make alternative plans. Have you ever considered evaluating your highest degree and writing English tests to position yourself in the express entry pool? This is the surest way to migrate to Canada as PR. Thank you for watching. Securing a spot in the Canada's Caregiver pilot programs require careful planning and preparations. Stay ahead by liking, sharing, and subscribing for more insightful content. To recap, evaluate your credentials and highest degree. Prepare for English language tests like IELTS, CELPIP, or PTE. Explore alternative migration paths such as express entry. Stay updated on the pilot programs, full launch, and eligibility criteria. Watch my DIY video for tips for avoiding visa and travel agent scams and joining our community for support and guidance. Good luck on your Canadian caregiver journey.